What if I told you that power is not controlled by kings, not by governments, but by those who control money and information? Because history does not belong to the strongest, it belongs to those who understand the system. In the city of Frankfurt, there was once a restricted area where Jews were forced to live. And inside that place lived a man named Mayer Rothschild. He wasn't a king, he wasn't a general, just a small businessman running a counting house, dealing in rare coins and small loans. But he understood something long before the rest of the world did, that power equals money. And if you control money, you don't just influence the system, you become the system. He also realized a brutal truth, that war is the most expensive invention of humanity. And when kings needed money to fight wars, they didn't go to other kings. They went to bankers, and that's where everything changed. Rothschild didn't just lend money. He built something far more powerful, a network. He sent his 5 sons to 5 different European capitals, London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, creating a financial system that operated beyond borders, beyond politics, beyond governments. One family spread across the most powerful cities in Europe, allowing money and information to move faster than any army or government ever could. It was no longer about controlling one country. It was about controlling the flow of the entire system. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Wars may have had 2 sides, but the money often came from the same place. Kings could win or lose. Countries could rise or fall. But the banker always won, because the loan always had to be repaid. One of the most powerful examples of this system came during the Battle of Waterloo, when Napoleon was finally defeated. But what most people don't realize is that Nathan Rothschild, sitting in London, received the news before the British government itself. He had built a private information network so fast and efficient that he knew the outcome nearly 24 hours earlier. And those 24 hours were worth a fortune. While the public remained uncertain, he quietly began buying government bonds at low prices. And when the news officially broke that Britain had won, the market exploded. Overnight, he made unimaginable wealth. This is called information asymmetry. The idea that the one who gets the truth first doesn't just benefit from the system, but rises above it and controls it. This system didn't end in Europe. It evolved and expanded into America, where a new player entered the stage, John D. Rockefeller. He didn't just build a business, he built a monopoly. By 1880, he controlled nearly 90% of oil refining in the United States, meaning almost every drop of fuel passed through his hands. His strategy was simple but ruthless. Sell oil so cheaply that competitors could not survive. And once they were gone, raise prices and dominate the market. He secured secret deals with railroads, controlled transportation, and eventually took over the entire supply chain, from oil wells to the final customer. It became impossible for anyone to compete with him. Even the government became alarmed, and in 1911, they ordered his company to be broken apart. But in a twist that reveals the true nature of power, Rockefeller didn't lose wealth. He became even richer, because the individual pieces of his empire ended up being worth more than the original monopoly. But power always comes at a cost. In 1914, workers in his coal mines went on strike, demanding basic human conditions. What followed was one of the darkest moments in industrial history. Violence, fire, and death. Innocent people, including children, lost their lives. And overnight, Rockefeller transformed from the richest man in America into one of the most hated figures in the country. But this is where the game reached another level. He didn't respond with force, he responded with perception. He hired one of the first public relations experts and began reshaping his image. Slowly, newspapers began publishing photos of him helping children, talking kindly with workers, and donating to causes. A new identity was created. Not a ruthless monopolist, but a generous philanthropist. His foundation funded education, healthcare, and scientific research, improving millions of lives. And over time, the past was rewritten. So the real question is, was it genuine help or the most sophisticated form of image control? The truth is, it was both. Because when you fund education, you influence what is taught. When you fund healthcare, you influence what is prioritized. And when you fund entire systems, you shape the direction of the future without ever needing votes or public approval. That is real power. Power without permission. Today, power has changed form. It is no longer just gold or oil. It is information, data, knowledge, and timing. If you know something before everyone else, you don't just participate in the system, you control it. So ask yourself, who really controls the world? The leaders you see or the systems you don't? Because in the end, money is not just a tool for exchange. It is a mechanism of control. And the moment you truly understand that, you stop being just another player in the system, and you begin to see the game for what it really is. Observe silently. Patterns don't lie. Their next move is predictable.
Stay subscribed.